Right, I think I've set everything up. Hello everyone and welcome to round 3 of the Radicals Championship in Aero League Racing. So, just to give you a bit of a breakdown of where we are at the moment. Iggy, who we are following, is our current championship leader. Of course he is. He won 3 championships last season. He won the Endurance and he won the Saturday League with the 4-wheel drive Japanese cars. And he also won the Group 3 League. So he's going for a new championship this season in the Radicals. And he has a 2-point lead in the championship over a driver just ahead of him on the track called Kepler, who won both of the first races, much to everyone's surprise. But he came back strong and won the next 2 races last week. So it'll be interesting to see what these guys can do as Iggy starts his first flying lap. I'm just going to pause this for a second just to make sure everything's working. Yep, it's working all good. So, have a look and see what kind of lines Iggy's doing today. So we are racing around Laguna Seca, which is a legendary track. It's one of the real life tracks that we've got in GT, as Iggy goes very wide. And that will have ruined his lap for sure, and he might get in the way of Owen behind him as his tyres will be a bit dusty from that little foray as we go into the corkscrew hairpin, one of the most difficult corners in the world, I'd say. But Iggy manages to take that with little fuss, and I wonder if he'll go for another lap. But let's join Kepler, who must be finishing his lap soon. He's got a little bit of traffic ahead of him in Riaba, who is a new driver to the league this season. And this is his first Radicals race. I've raced with him a little bit in Tier 3, and he was incredibly fast, so fast that they bumped him straight up to Tier 1 for next week's races. So Kepler goes almost 2.5 tenths quicker than Riaba, and Iggy, despite his adventure off track, goes quicker as everyone's going across the start-finish line now, and T. Smithy, who is a bit of a Saturday expert, is slotted in at P3 as DB has managed to go almost 3 tenths quicker than Kepler there, so that's a bit of a surprise because he hasn't had the pace of the fastest drivers so far, but he's really nailed this lap here as he overtakes Millsy and then goes a little bit wide, trying to set another fast lap, but I don't think he'll beat that one, having to overtake in cars. So the current order, we've got DB, who is 2 tenths ahead of Kepler, and then there's a massive gap with Iggy behind, then Woozy, who has been a regular feature on the podium so far this season in the Radicals. Then we've got Millsy in P5, Owen in P6, Iggy after his mistake is only down in P7, and Riaba, who also must have made a mistake, is down in P8. We've got Pyro, who is regular and the host of the Saturday Leagues, and then we've got SRT Pov, who hasn't raced in quite a while, so it's nice to see him back. He's in 10th at the moment. Self-Destructor a little bit further down, who's new to the league. Speed Minion, who is been with us for quite a while, he's in P12. Lego Man, who is one of our Tier 1 drivers on Mondays, in P13, so expecting a much better lap from him. And Lil Sheepy is rounding off the... he's rounding off the field, and that's the reason. So Kepler has just set a time that was faster than DB Elite, and so is Iggy. So they are both 2 tenths and 3 tenths ahead of DB now, who's come back into the pits, and he is going for a bit of an aggressive strategy to try and get the freshest tyres for his next run, which, to be honest, I think he'll need, because these two guys, if he wants a chance to beat them, he does need to find probably more than half a second, because I can imagine they would improve on their laps as well, especially Iggy. Let's see if he's on another fast lap. So 133.2 was Iggy's lap, which goes to show that these Radicals are pretty fast. We are racing on sports tyres as well, which Not the fastest, obviously not as good as racing tyres, and you do lose quite a bit of time compared to the racing tyres, but these radicals can take it, and they actually perform pretty well with the sports tyres, so it's nice to change things up and not just have the same kind of tyres as well for these different leagues, because GT's just got so many cars to choose from. Just putting the exact same tyres on each one is going to do some of them a disservice, and it actually makes some unstable if they've got too grippy tyres. So is Iggy going to be... Yes, he is going round again to set another lap, as is Kepler. Is he going to improve? No, he is half a tenth too slow, and Kepler also didn't improve. And every time that they go around, the tyres will lose a little bit of performance, but the car will get a little bit lighter as well with the fuel being burned, so it's quite a balancing act, but obviously setting a 33.2 and then a 33.3 for Iggy, and for Kep, a 33.1, and then he went all the way down to a 34.2, so he must have made a mistake. But he's going to be pushing again on this lap, because I don't know how many more laps they'll be able to do in this 10-minute qualifying session that we've got. Oh, he goes a bit wide there. I don't know how much time that will have lost him. Probably a little bit, because he has to go all the way up this hill. And then a blind braking for this corkscrew right here. And he gets a big slide there as well, and he's 2/10 down. What about Iggy? Iggy's a second down, so neither of them are going to improve on this lap, which is going to give DB a decent chance. He's just started his lap. He's 32 seconds into his lap on fresher tyres, so let's follow him around and let's see what he can do, as the top two aren't going to be improving this time around. Ooh, I think that was Speed Minion kicking up dust there. DB goes a little bit wide into that corner, but stays on the track as he approaches the corkscrew. Brakes, hits the apex, but he is 1.1 seconds too slow. He might have one more lap after this to try and improve, but that's not what he'll have been expecting after gambling and pitting, when he could have had 2 more laps to try and improve on that time. Let's join Kepler again, see if he can improve. Hits that corkscrew. He's got that corner really sussed out. So he's doing better than the last lap, but he is still 4/10 down. And what about Iggy? Iggy is up by 0.08. He needs to find more time in this final sector to overtake Kepler and get pole position, and get the extra point that that pole position holds as well. He has to nail this final corner and get a great exit, because it's such a long run down to the start-finish line here. Oh, 5/1000th too slow. Now, the question is, are they going to have time to do one more lap? Let's join DB and see how he's doing. He needs to find over 3/10 on his previous best lap, and he's 1.4 seconds down. What a shame. He must have just really nailed that first lap, because he hasn't been able to replicate it since. But he's going to get a comfortable third as it stands. Let's see what Kepler is doing. He'll be feeling the pressure now. Iggy's breathing down the back of his neck, as he did manage to find 4/10 in that final sector somehow as well, because he was very slightly quicker than his previous best time, well, by 1/100th. But he's not going to improve there, because he just dipped a toe, not a toe, a wheel on the gravel. But let's see what his sector time comes out as. 0.3 too slow. Well, he was 4.4 too slow last time, and he managed to improve. Let's see what about Iggy. I just missed his sector split time. Right, let's follow him until the end of the lap. I'm sure this has to be the last lap. Yeah, there's cars gathered at turn 1. So this will be the last lap for Iggy and his last chance to get pole position. And he does it. He gets pole by 0.3 of a second, which is a massive improvement on his previous laps. He really turned it on when it mattered most. He gets pole position by 0.3 ahead of Kepler. DB manages to get P3. He's still setting a lap, so he could improve. Let's see what he does in this split time. No, he's 2 seconds behind. T. Smithy is about to finish. Is he going to improve on his 1 second away from Iggy? No, he's 2.5 seconds behind. Woozy gets P5. He'll be needing to improve if he wants to continue his podium runs. Owen P6, Millsy P7, Riaba, our debutant, is P8. Lego manages P9 in the end. Pyro 10th, SRT Pov on his debut in the Radicals 11th. Sheepy managed to improve to 12th. Self-Destructor is coming out of the pits way too late, and he gets 13th. And Speed Minion brings up the rear of the grid. So now we just play the waiting game until the race starts. So this is a standing start for the first race. Let's see what if Kepler can get a better start than Iggy into turn 1 when it decides that it wants to start. I'm guessing it's just buffering. Right, here we go. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And we're off. And I have the wrong kind of... Right, let's see. Iggy gets a better start and manages to get in front of Kep, who's kind of having to lift here in order to... There's a bit of argy-bargy behind, but DB Elite stays in 3rd place. And Woozy looks like he's battling Riaba for P4 as it's line astern for the top 3. Oh. Just trying to figure out what to do here. Right, I may need to leave the lobby to get the camera angles back, but let's just follow what's going on lap 1 for a little bit, and then I might do that once the race settles down, because we don't want to miss the action. But yeah, let's join the front. So we've got DB, Kep, and Iggy, who's got a penalty by the looks of things, a 1 second penalty. He's slowing down very soon, so I'm expecting Kep to overtake him and take the lead of the race, where he will have to be fully in control. This is a gift, to be honest. And 1 second's going to penalise him probably more than 1 second. I'd expect DB to overtake him as well. So there's Kep. Let's see. DB. Yeah, DB gets ahead as well. But there's a 3 second gap all the way back to Riaba, so he's not got too much to worry about. He just needs to overtake 2 more cars to retake the lead. He'll be kicking himself right now. It's quite uncharacteristic for Iggy to get a time penalty from what I've seen. And DB is a very hard defender. He's not going to want to give place up too easily. Interesting difference in lines there. Kepler took a much wider line than DB and hit the apex a bit later. And DB went straight into it. I don't know if that was a bit of a defensive move to... Oh, Iggy's got a run on DB now. Yeah, that was a gift. There was no hard defending there needed. And he just managed to get it slowed down in time to avoid hitting the back of Iggy there. But now Iggy's got a 1.4 second gap behind Kepler, which he's going to have to try and reel in. Is DB? No, DB wasn't anywhere close to him. Right, I'm going to take this opportunity just quickly to exit and try and re-enter. See if this works. Right, here we go. Yes, it has worked. Beautiful. Now we'll be able to enjoy the rest of the race properly. So DB's keeping up the pressure on the back of Iggy right there, which is nice to see. Let me just sort out the replay options because they've reset again. Driver names, online IDs, perfect. Yeah, Iggy hasn't closed in at all on Kepler. He's still basically 1.4 seconds away, which was what he was as soon as he overtook DB. As they're going through this twisty bit, let's have a quick look further down. Riaba's got a strong P4 and Woozy's breathing right down his neck. Owen Williams is a little bit further behind in P6, and he's kind of driving on his own, with Lego Man just ahead of Lil Sheepy, Pyro. Smithy must have had a big mistake, because he's managed to get himself up to 9th. I think he just overtook Pyro there. And further down the back, it's all pretty tight though, and Self-Destructor and Speed Minion are having a little fight there. Is he going to manage to get him in this tight corner? No, he backs out of it. Right. Kepler 1.3 seconds is still the lead, but Iggy is breaking away a little bit from DB, who is really struggling to match the pace of these top two drivers. He's actually at a little bit of risk of getting caught up by Riaba and Woozy. So the battle for the podiums is not done and dusted. After that, the top three had a 3-second lead at the end of the first lap, and these two in P4 and 5 are really closing in as Iggy sets the fastest lap with a 32.8. They were in the 31s, I'm pretty sure, in qualifying, so more time to find that, definitely. Oh, as DB goes really wide, is he facing the pressure now? He is improving though, somehow, despite putting... Oh, and he's on the dusters again. But let's join Iggy, because he's 4 tenths behind Kepler now. As Kepler puts wheel in the dust as well. I guess it's not costing them too much time doing that though, but it's not, you don't want to do that too often, because it does really slow you down. And Iggy has gone for a move. So yeah, it did penalise Kepler there. Yeah, and he managed to get slowed down in front of him before the corkscrew. So Iggy's penalty that he got on lap 1, he's already atoned for, and he's back in the lead. Now the question is Kepler going to be able to keep pace, or is it done and dusted for Iggy and he's going to start building a lead? As Riaba and Woozy are having a really close fight there. Can Woozy take advantage of the slipstream here and get a move done before turn 1? Riaba definitely a lot slower on that lap. He must have made mistakes. Ooh, Woozy had a look, backed out of it, and has gone wide for turn 1, which gives Riaba a little bit of breathing space. He is keeping up the pressure. He's just a 10th behind still. And this is really helping out DB as well, because he's re-established about it. Well, it was 3 seconds. Now it's gone down to 2. He must have made a mistake coming out of that corner. Yeah, Riaba's taken that corner a lot better as well, to give himself more breathing room against Woozy. What's happening at the front? DB has lost 4.2 seconds now to Kepler, and now Riaba's only, well, less than a second behind him. He's having a really messy lap. He's 3 seconds slower on this lap. As we are halfway through this short 15-minute sprint race. Wide again, and really shaky. They're going to be really close by when we get to the first corner. Let's just see how far away. Kepler is still a second behind. So we're going to follow DB for a little bit now, as Riaba is struggling to keep up with him, to be honest. Riaba goes wide. Woozy's got the perfect opportunity here to overtake before this corner, and he goes wide again. It looks like there's some contact. Woozy goes through, and Riaba is struggling to get his car back on the track. And now Owen Williams is going to go through as well. Yeah, Owen sweeps round the outside. What a shame for Riaba. He had a chance of a podium there, and he's kind of ruined it by getting the exit of the first corner. First couple of corners wrong. But he'll try and come back at Owen now here, because he has shown so far that he's got a little bit more pace. No, he's having a nightmare. So what happens on this game when you go a little bit wide in one corner? If you push just like you've pushed before, you're just going to keep making the same mistakes. Your tyres need a good few corners to recover and get back up to the right temperature and get the grip levels back that they had before. And now he's 7 seconds down on this lap because he's been pushing too hard after his first mistake, basically. And now Lego Man's probably going to gobble him up. Yeah. See? Oh, they make a bit of contact there as well. And Riaba gets a half-second penalty for going wide there. Right, let's see what's going on a bit higher up. So Iggy has a 1.3 second lead at the moment. His last lap was the fastest, a 32.5. So he's just improving and improving and improving. But Kep is keeping the pace pretty well. He's only lost a 10th in the previous lap, and he's still within 1.4. So any mistake that Iggy makes, Kep has a great chance of getting the victory still. So it's definitely not over in these last 5 minutes. DB is having a bit of a lonely race now, which must be a relief for him because he was under pressure for quite a while in the earlier stages. And Woozy hasn't been chasing him down as I thought he would be, to be honest. Owen is another one who's probably going to have a bit of a lonely race because Riaba is just behind. But with that half-second penalty coming at the end of this lap, he is for sure going to fall behind Lego Man. He's probably just happy to follow him at the moment. There's our soon-to-be 6th place man, if my predictions are going to come true. So yeah, let's see what happens with Riaba. So this start-finish, this penalty line, is right at the start of the pit straight, which is going to penalise him a lot more than half a second. Yeah, the move is done quite easily by Lego there. Now it's a question, can Riaba calm himself down and stay within the track limits, stop putting his tyres on the grab. Oh, he's rear-ended Lego there. Lego is on the grass, as we can't really see. Oh, and he comes on and Riaba has to get out of the way, which is good news for Smithy. He's going to catch up to these two, and it's good news for Owen, who was just ahead of them. Can he make the corner without any more incidents? That was a good line, but it's opened the door because it was so wide for Riaba, who has overtaken him. As we go into the corkscrew, where it's so easy to brake too late, they make the apexes. Smithy's right behind, ready to pounce on any mistake as well, as Riaba takes the place back. Smithy tries it around the outside, and oh, what an amazing... Oh no, he has to back out. I was going to say that would have been a fantastic move if he'd have managed to pull that off Smithy, but the camber of the corner doesn't suit itself well to wheel-to-wheel battling. Oh, Smithy's ruined his chances of... Oh, he hasn't actually lost too much time there, just over a second to Lego, despite going incredibly wide. Managed not to get a penalty as well, which I noticed Riaba has managed to get himself one. So this gives Lego Man a great chance of retaking 6th place again if he can close up the gap between now and the end of the lap. So almost 13 and a half minutes gone. Let's see what the gap at the front. It's only a second. Right, let's stick with Keplero for a little bit. Iggy must have made a little bit of a mistake to let Kep get within 1 second there. You can see how close they are actually. As Kep takes that corner beautifully. And he's within 8/10, and he gets a set. I thought so. Yeah, he just cut the inside of the corkscrew there, and you could see from the rumble strips he was over the rumble strips and into the little green bit on the inside, which isn't part of the track. So it's not going to be this lap, it's going to be next lap that he has to serve his 1 second penalty. The next lap will be the final lap as well, because we're timed at 15 minutes. Let's see what happens with Riaba with his half a second that he has to serve when he gets to the start-finish line. As he's flashing us. Lego and Smithy are still pretty close as Riaba doesn't get a good exit there. I don't know if his tyres are gone, but Lego's got a great toe there. He needs to get more into his slipstream, to be honest, but he's going really wide. As Riaba again touches the dirt as they battle side by side into turn 1. Yeah, Lego Man had the inside. Is Smithy going to try and put himself there as well? No, Riaba closes the door. And there's a bit of argy-bargy, some touching, but Smithy backs out of it, and nothing bad comes of it on this last lap. Right, let's join the top 2 as they head in round the corkscrew into these final couple of corners. Kep unfortunately has a 1 second penalty, and he's dropped 8/10 this lap as well. So it looks like P2 is guaranteed for him, but we'll join Iggy as he is rounding the last couple of corners before taking his 3rd victory of the season. He doesn't have fastest lap. Can he get it on this lap though? That's the question. Because Kep needs to be getting as many of these extra bonus points as possible to keep the championship alive at this point. Iggy takes P1. Kep 3.2 seconds behind in 2nd place. He does get fastest lap. DB crosses the line 10 seconds behind the leaders. Rounds off the podium places. Woozy, solid P4, wasn't really troubling the podium positions in the end, but another really strong result from him. As we've got Owen across the line in P5, pretty decent result for the Tier 1 driver as well. Lego Man has managed to stay ahead of Riaba and Smithy as they are all incredibly close together crossing the line. 6th, 7th and 8th, and we've got a little bit further back. Pyro is heading up Sheepy, who are the last 2 that are going to get points in this sprint race. Yeah, Pyro P10, the Tier 2 driver. Sheepy is in Tier 3 and is P10. SRT gets 11th. Speed Minion is the only one not to finish because we've got Millsy, Self-Destructor, already finishing the race a lap down. So let's just join Speed as he finishes. So all in all, pretty decent race there. Iggy made a big mistake at the start. Lost 2 positions, but managed to get them back within 3 or 4 laps and just control the race from the front. But the key thing is he wasn't just driving away from Keplero. They were very evenly matched on pace, so there is a good chance for this feature race for there to be a different outcome. So let's just I'll just pause for a moment as we just wait for the lobby to reset.
Just reading through some of this chat. So DB has said that he could do the pace from the front, the same pace as the front guys, but he just wasn't as consistent, which is definitely what showed on the stream. Riyab has apologised for that bump that we managed to catch on stream as well, but I'm sure he's not too bothered because he managed to finish in front anyway. Kep has said that he's wasted his chance for the win there, which, yeah, I bet he's kicking himself a little bit. So we'll see if he can come back on the feature race, because he definitely has the pace. He just needs to replicate it over 40 minutes rather than 15. And Iggy's win in the feature race last time was pretty dominant in round 2. So Kep has to find consistency and pace, I would say, compared to last week, if he's going to take that victory. Well, everyone's foaming at the mouth to get going again, so I can imagine one-shot quali will be starting fairly soon. Let's go into spectate mode and set myself up. Okay, looks like we'll be getting going soon. So let's see, who should we follow around this time? Oh, of course the settings had to be rejigged for this 40-minute race. Yep, now it says 40 minutes. Let's go back in a spectate and set myself up again. If it wants to. There we go. Oh. They're going. Right, who should we follow this time? Let's follow Kep because he was the first one out, and he is one of the favourites for pole position here. So this is a one-shot qualifying session. We wouldn't normally have, well, the intention isn't to have a qualifying session for the feature race. It is to have a reverse grid, but unfortunately GT doesn't have the facility / capability to do a reverse grid or to do a set grid. So instead we do a one-shot, but the pole position, unlike in the previous qualifying session, will not get a bonus point here, which is a shame for me because I've had a lot of pole positions in one shot and never for the one that actually counts. But what we normally see is people push way too hard, make mistakes on their one chance, and it's quite a big field spread in the one-shot qualifying. So Kepler is crossing the final bend with DB Elite just behind him. About to start his flying lap. Further back, some cars are very close together, so they might be getting in each other's way. That's the other thing about one shot. Everyone's pushing, so you end up sometimes racing people rather than trying to set the fastest lap possible because you want to get past them if you think you're quicker. Or you don't want to let them pass because they'll ruin your lap, so there's a lot of things to consider in one-shot qualifying. It's quite a tactical game that you have to play, but Kep has got the tactics right because he's out in front. He's not going to have to worry about any of that, and he can just focus on his lap. It's set to 25.2 as the first sector. But he goes wide there, so we lose 1 or 2 tenths going up to this corner because it's quite a bit of a long run. And he goes wide again. If he's top 2, I would be very surprised after 2 mistakes and 2 corners. And he does that one a lot better as we go up to the corkscrew. Yeah, hits the apex, lovely. 106. 8.4. As he's rounding off the last... Oh, and he goes a bit wide there. That will have unsettled the car a tiny bit as we go into the last corner, which is very difficult to get the braking point right for this corner. I hate it, personally. But it's so important because it's such a long run down to the start-finish line, and he's going to be in the 32s. It's going to be a 33.2, which isn't the best. DB Elite, 0.6 slower. What can Owen Williams do? Yeah, he goes P3. Pyro gets the last corner very wrong. So I'm assuming that'll be P4 for Pyro. Yeah. Iggy, is he going to get one? P1? No, he only gets... He's in P5. He's behind T. Smithy as well. Millsy manages to get ahead of Pyro. Riaba, what can he do? He's doing so well for good portions of the sprint race. He only gets P6. Speed Minion, as the last few cars are approaching. So he's 7.5 seconds off the pace. Lego Man, I'm expecting to be... Oh. Wow. Millsy is P8. Woozy managed to get P4, so he's ahead of Iggy as well. As we got Self-Destructor, who was pretty low down in the first race. He's going to manage to get in the top 10 here. 11th. And SRT Pov, what can he do? P8. So just behind Iggy and Riaba, which is pretty decent. And Sheepy is our last one. And he gets 13th. So Kep gets pole position despite having a bit of a scruffy lap, to be honest, that we followed. DB P2, Owen 3rd, Woozy 4th, T Smithy 5th, Iggy all the way down in 6th. It'll be really interesting to follow him and see how quickly he can overtake these cars, because that is a pretty disappointing lap at 34.9. I don't even think he set a 34.9 in the whole of the sprint race, to be honest with you. And we've got Riaba in just behind him as well. So this is not a standing start. This is a rolling start, which definitely gives the people that qualify at the front a lot more of an advantage, as long as they can nail the starts, obviously. And as the klaxon sounds now, and I'm gonna have to go out and in again because it's done that thing, but I'll see how... Let's follow Iggy a little bit. Well, actually, he's not they're not close to each other at the moment. As you can see, the 5 cars in front of him all taking the first corner. And he's going to have to start reeling them in pretty quickly now. But they're all line astern so far. Yep, no changes at all. Right, whilst they're doing this, I'm just going to exit and enter very quickly. And hopefully don't miss anything. So yep, Kep is still in first. DB is pretty close behind him at the moment. With Owen 3rd, Smithy 4th, and Iggy is still in 5th. Let's just get the info on. So at the moment, Iggy is 4.4 seconds off the lead. As everyone's line astern, no one is battling, which is really what Iggy wants, to be able to close the gap to them. As Woozy takes a really bad line through the corkscrew, and Smithy is all over the back of him, gets past very easily. As Woozy had no pace there. Is he going to come around the outside again? He does make contact with Smithy, but nothing comes of it. And Iggy, and Woozy puts a tire in the gravel. Now this is going to give Iggy a decent chance of overtaking Woozy on the run down to the first corner. No, he can't get close enough. One thing I've noticed about these radicals is that the slipstream doesn't seem to do great things for these cars. So as Iggy puts a tyre in the gravel there as well. Or the dirt, it's not gravel. Woozy's all over the back of Smithy now. He's
trying to get that position back as both of them put a tyre in the dirt there. This is all bad news for Iggy. He is some way behind, but these cars that aren't keeping all their tyres on the track will just be holding him up because he won't want to get involved in someone in these two's battle and ruin his own race. As Self-Destruct has left the room, as these two are battling up to the corkscrew. Is it the corkscrew? It is the corkscrew. They both make a tiny bit of contact, but Woozy goes through a lot better than the previous lap, as he takes a much wider line than Smithy around this corner here. And he's going to try and go for a move. He does nudge Smithy there, a bit naughty. Smithy goes off track. Woozy gets the position. Smithy's going to lose out to Iggy as well, so that's a free place for Iggy. And is Riaba going to get a place on Smithy here as well? No. Smithy won't be happy about that. But look how close Riaba is. He's gonna get a move done before turn one, surely. As DB Elite has the fastest lap currently with a 33.9. Riaba does get P6. Oh, and he gets a bit of a nudge around the corner as well from Smithy. Right, let's see what's happening with DB, because he's only 8/10 behind Kepler at the moment. And he is going quicker again from his previous best lap. Yeah, Kepler was not having the best time of pulling away from DB like he did in the last race. As we approach the corkscrew. Yeah, Kepler took it really well and has managed to pull a good 3/10, 4/10 on DB there. What's going on a bit further down is Iggy is 7.5 seconds off the pace at the moment. And he's not that close to Woozy either. So I do wonder if he's on a harder compound. And he's going to come alive later in the race. It wouldn't surprise me. What would surprise me if this was just his pick, to be honest. As he's 8.1 seconds down now. Woozy's closing in on Owen here as well, so the battle for the podium is going to hot up pretty soon as he's closing in quite substantially there as Owen goes wide, and maybe that's why. Hopefully this next battle's a little bit cleaner than the previous one Woozy had with T. Smithy. So close going into this corkscrew. He's going to have to brake a little bit earlier to avoid contact there. He did take a bit of a wider line just in case something went wrong. And again, Owen looks like he's defending the inside for this corner here. It's like a double left-hander going into this slow right-hand corner. And Woozy's, yeah, he's just taking so much more speed through this section of the track. Now Owen is defending the inside quite well. I can't really tell because there's a little bit of internet lag, but it looked like he had no intention of letting Woozy take the inside line there. As Woozy does give him a little nudge. This is going to help Iggy close up behind them as well. But Owen manages to keep the position for now. How's DB doing? He's still within 2 seconds of Kepler.
So he's definitely improved on his pace in the sprint race. So maybe he learned some lessons around there, and he's applying them to this sprint race. As I say that, he goes a little bit. Well, he doesn't take that corner too well, and now he's around about 2.5 seconds behind. As Iggy's managed to overtake Woozy there. Woozy's clearly made a mistake. What's my opinion on Lego Man? I've raced with Lego Man for 2 seasons, the last season and the season before in Group 3. He's very fast. He's nowhere in this race, though. He shouldn't be in... Where is he? He shouldn't be in P9 as he's battling Pyro right now. Should be a lot higher than that, in my opinion. Because I think he's one of the... Well, he's definitely one of the top 10 in the league, so he should definitely be in the top, comfortably in the top 10 for this race. Managed to get that move on Pyro quite comfortably, and now he'll chase down Millsy, who is 2.8 seconds ahead. But let's rejoin Iggy, because he managed to get past Woozy there, which we didn't manage to catch on stream, as he goes really wide in that corner. Yeah, I thought this was the Tokyo track, so if anyone who's listening and has access to change the title, please change it. I did join last minute to commentate because the commentator pulled out, so I was in a bit of a rush, but yeah, surprise, it's not Tokyo. So Iggy has 8.1 seconds to catch on Kepler, and he's got 31 minutes to do it. Very possible for him. It is very possible. He's overturned deficits much bigger than this before. Owen is now a comfortable 3rd after being under a lot of pressure from Woozy, who's dropped all the way down to 7th now. So he must be having a right nightmare on those tyres. And DB is very close to Kepler. So let's focus on these two, because if they start fighting, that is great news for Iggy behind as he tries to close the gap now that he's got a bit more free air. Again on his best time in that first sector. It seems to me, from what I've seen, that Kepler can kind of stretch the gap out a little bit in the first sector, and then DB kind of reels him in after the corkscrew, or maybe after that corner.
May I ask, who is Lego Man's partner, and what's your opinion on them?
I don't know. Let me double check. As DB is within 7/10 now. So Lego Man's teammate is Lil Sheepy. Yeah, I race with him at the moment in Group 3 as well. He's fairly decent. He always does better on the side days, I've noticed, than on the Monday races. He won a few last season on the Saturdays, which is pretty impressive. That was when we had more than one tier for Saturdays. He's currently in 12th place at the moment, though. But yeah, I'm going to stick with this battle because there's only 4/10 now separating Kep and DB. And like I said, Kep will probably stretch the lead a little bit here, and then DB might get a chance a bit later in the lap to have a move because he seems to be quicker around this section of the track that we're just entering into. He's fallen back a bit. Kep's managed to put the foot down. Is he going to take the corkscrew better? He's 1.3 behind now, having been 0.4 behind earlier in the lap, so I think it's a case of Kep finding more speed though, because DB is only 0.3 down off his best time of the race. So Kep's just managed to put a more tidy lap together than he's managed so far. So I'm expecting this to be his fastest lap when he goes across the finish line. Ah, he just misses it by 0.027 of a second. But that's given him some good breathing space over DB. And what's the gap to Iggy? Iggy's now 9.9 seconds behind, which he was under 8 last time we checked, so he's losing time to Kep, which kind of reinforces the great lap that Kep's been doing. So Iggy's last lap was a 32.9, Kep's was a 32.8. So they are lapping pretty similarly, but yeah, Iggy must have lost. Oh, a 34.2. That's why. I don't know what I was looking at. And he's not managed to reel Owen in as quickly as I thought that he would either. So Owen's really giving a good account for himself here. I don't think he's got a podium yet in the Radicals, so this would be a very good result if he can manage to stick it out for the next 27 minutes that we've got of this race. Looked like Iggy was taking the corkscrew very gingerly there. Yeah, his quickest lap's a 34.1 and Kep's is 32.8 as he goes towards the start finish line. So Kep must be on the softer tyre at this stage. Yeah, 33.4, 33.6 for DB, and Owen managed at 34.7, which is a little bit slower than Iggy, so Iggy might be starting to come in and catching Owen, who I am assuming is on the quicker tyre as well, and then we might just be starting to see the changeover where the softer tyre starts to lose a bit of grip and the harder tyre comes into their own a bit more. Let's see what's going on a little bit further down the field, because Kep has a 2-second lead at the moment. T. Smithy is in a comfortable P5, and Woozy's managed to get back up to P6 ahead of Riaba, who must have had a scruffy couple of laps to be in 7th. And then Pyro is doing a bit better than the previous race. He's in a solid 8th at the moment, with Millsy not too far behind as they are approaching and getting ready to lap Speed Minion. And Pov is rounding out the top 10, with Sheepy 11th, Lego Man down in 12th. I don't know if he's pitted already. He could have. And Speed Minion 13th, and we must have lost a driver as well. Oh yeah, we did. We lost Self-Destructor. So DB's managed to pull back about 0.3 on that lap to keep the road. As he's 0.8 down on his quickest there. Kep's just not making a mistake so far, so he's managed to not really come under any real pressure so far this race. There hasn't been an attempt on an overtake for the lead. So he's really controlling this race really well right now, as DB puts a couple of tyres in the dirt, but he still manages to improve on his best time again. As Iggy is now in P3, he managed to... Oh no, that's Owen, beg your pardon. He's still 1.7 ahead of Iggy, so Iggy didn't manage to close up the gap any more than he did previously. As Riaba's managed to get back ahead of Woozy. So it looks like for Woozy to be that far behind, he definitely made a mistake. They had a bit of contact in the first race, I remember, as well. But yeah, let's rejoin Iggy as he tries to hunt down Owen. Is he gonna... Yeah, he's taking the corkscrew much more carefully than I expected him to. I thought that would be a part of the track where he would be attacking really hard, but maybe getting the lap 1 1 second's penalty in the sprint race has made him a bit nervous about tackling that corner too aggressively. Still a solid 1.8 behind though. It's just not catching him at all. A 34.8 compared to a 35.1, so he's managed 0.3, but the gap's still a solid 1.8, which we're used to seeing. And Keplero's managing to pull away from DB now as well. So it's starting to look really comfortable for Kep. He's maintaining his lead over Iggy. Actually, he's extending it. It's now 12.5 seconds. Which shows the strategy and the pace that Kep's got is absolutely stronger. It's just a shame we haven't got many battles up and down the field. We've got Riaba, who is very close to Woozy, so let's join them for a little bit as cars are starting to come into the pits. You can see Pov right there. He came in with half his fuel gone, and he was on the softer tyres, so he's probably going on the harder ones to the end of the race. Maybe we will see Kep or DB or Owen pitting in the next few laps, and that'll be when Iggy decides to put his foot down. He takes that corner fairly well. Better than Riaba managed, as Owen goes into the pits. Owen is the first of the front runners to go into the pits. And he was on softs like we predicted. Used up a lot more fuel than we saw Pov use, as Riaba and Woozy are both going into the pits as well. So, it'll be interesting to see where Owen comes out here, because if he's not in any traffic, this will have worked out perfectly for him. Pyro also into the pits, so I'm assuming the soft runners will be coming in this lap or next lap. If Kep and DB manage to eke out an extra lap on top, even better. As he is refueling as well. Yeah, he's coming out in no man's land, which is absolutely perfect for Owen as he comes out on the mediums. So he can really focus on putting his foot down and trying to maintain this gap that he's got, or that he had over Iggy, and maybe try and build on it before Iggy comes out on the softer tyres to finish the race off. So let's join the front runners. Yep, Kep has come into the pits, as has DB, so we will see Iggy here. About to take the lead, so he was 12.2 seconds behind, and he's going into the pits. Iggy was on the mediums, so he's pitting on the exact same lap, the halfway point exactly of this race. So the question is, can he pull in those 12 seconds, and where can he come out in comparison to Owen, because he'll do himself a massive favor if Owen has as he's losing the car. On these harder tyres, you can't attack in the same way that you can on the softs. But the real question is, can Owen come out in front of Iggy and give him a headache? As Iggy goes on the mediums again. No, he isn't. He just hasn't changed his tyres according to this. So you can see there, Iggy is leaving the pits. This is going to be very tight between the two of them, as Owen's got way more speed coming around the first corner, and he can attack the corner much more comfortably. There he is, Iggy. He looks like he might come out ahead. Yeah, he has that. Those couple of moments Owen had on that outlap that we just managed to catch has proved to be his undoing, to be honest. As now Iggy's going to have 11.7 seconds, so he's already gained half a second on when he first came into the pits to catch up to Kep, but he's got 4.5 seconds to DB first, who I mentioned before is a very tough person to pass, but he made it very easy for Iggy in the sprint race. Where's everyone else come out? So T Smithy's still in no man's land in P5. Woozy is a comfortable P6, 2.5 seconds ahead of Riaba right now. With Pyro, a very comfortable and lonely 8th. Lego Man is up to P9 after all of this, as he did pit earlier. So we'll see if he can close the gap to Pyro between now and the end of the race. And Millsy is in P10. Pov 11th, Sheepy and Speed Minion round out the current races. Speed Minion's getting the blue flag. So, that was his outlap, 38.3. It'll be interesting to see what Maxeros has left the room. I don't think he was meant to be in the room. So, DB... Kep managed a 38.3, DB managed a 40.0. These are their outlap times. And Iggy managed a 36.6. So now he's only 10.3 away and 2 seconds behind DB. Now let's just follow Iggy for a little bit and see how quickly he can close this gap. So it was 2 seconds, and then in one corner he's gained pretty much 7/10 there. He's setting the best times, he's going purple, and he'll have caught up to DB by the end of the lap here, to be honest. This is 9.8 seconds away from Kep. Yeah, he's within 4/10 now. But what he's got to be careful of is, as DB covers him on the inside there, which is a very fair move to make. Iggy's got to be careful not to brake too late because his tyres can handle it, but DB's can't. So he's going to try an ambitious move down this corner. It is an overtaking spot, but it can end in disaster, as he does, because DB doesn't get the apex and he goes wide. They go side by side into the final corner. DB squeezes Iggy. And Iggy, firm but fair racing there from DB, I've got to say, as he keeps hold of P2 for another lap. And Iggy's down to 11.5 seconds behind Keptero again. So all that hard work that he's done, he's going to have to do again. As we've got a lapped car coming out of the pits. That's Little Sheepy. So Iggy's going to close in again on DB, who will be feeling the pressure again. He's just got to make sure he doesn't put a foot wrong, and he has to keep hitting his apexes. Because if he doesn't, Iggy will be there. So they're going side by side up the hill. There's one more corner before we get to the corkscrew, and Iggy gets it done even before then. He manages to take the line in a unique way and avoid going wide as well, which is so easy to do at that corner. And now he's going to attack the corkscrew. He doesn't attack it too hard. Again, he's being quite conservative at the corkscrew corner. And now we're just going to see him drive away from DB. But yeah, let's see if there's any action going on further down. Everyone's got some quite big... Oh, Smithy's got a 1 second penalty, which will help Woozy close the gap to him, but with an 8.8 second advantage, it's not going to help too much. Woozy is comfortable P6. He's still over 2 seconds ahead of Riaba. And Lego Man has closed the gap quite substantially to Pyro. He was 8 seconds behind last time we joined. So I'm expecting this probably to be the next overtake of the race. Any incidents? Nothing. Everyone's been driving pretty well, actually, to be honest with you. Just a little bit of argy-bargy, but we don't mind a little bit of bumping here and there, as long as it doesn't result in a spin. I think the sprint race had a bit more in terms of incidents that might be a bit beyond, well, a bit borderline reportable, but no, it's been good so far. As Lego Man is only a second behind. Lego must be on faster tyres, and that's why he's so low down. So let's stay with him and see what he can do with Pyro. Yeah, definitely, because he set his fastest lap on a 33.9 there. Is he gonna... No, he backs out of it. Pyro does leave the space though, which means that he goes a bit wide and just gifts the spot, and he goes very wide. But he's got a huge gap to Millsy behind him. But he basically got spooked off track there by Lego Man. And Lego has a comfortable P8, and he's got 13 seconds behind Riaba to make up. But if he can make it up as quick as he managed to catch Pyro there, then it'll be happy days for him, and he'll keep making progress towards the end of the race. Let's see how far Iggy is behind now. So, whilst we were watching the other battle, he's managed to basically get a second on Kep. So he'll definitely catch him before the end of the race if he keeps up this kind of pace, but it's going to be a question of whether the softs go off before he can catch Kep, which is basically a carbon copy of one of the previous races that we've had, where he was, well, they just went on completely different strategies, and he didn't manage to catch Kep on that occasion, so I was watching that. But he does have the fastest lap, so he's going to get the point for that as well, most likely. Let's see, is he going to be a bit more aggressive in the corkscrew? Yeah, he hit the apexes perfectly there, and that's why he's going faster again. So the gap is now 7.5 seconds. So that's only, well, let's see what happens when he comes to the end of the lap. If he's going to, yeah, he had a great exit to that corner. So basically, 1.4 seconds he managed to gain on Kepler that lap. So if he keeps this up, maybe 5 or 6 laps he'll be right on the back of him. And that's with, well, that'll give him 10 minutes basically to try and overtake Kep. What about far back? Well, there's probably been some incidents. We haven't been following as Speed Minion's made his second stop, I think. I wonder why he's done that. He's a lap down, or he might be 2 laps down at this point. Sheepy, yeah, he is, because even Sheepy's a lap ahead. You can see because of the dots instead of a timing difference between Sheepy and Speed Minion. But yeah, there's no real battles going on. But Lego Man has closed the gap down to Riaba massively there. He's got a 10-second lead ahead of Pyro now as well. Riaba's making mistakes, definitely, because he's set a 141.4 and a 138.8, which is just a disaster. He's not comfortable on these tyres at all, clearly. So we'll follow Lego Man for a little bit and see how quickly he can reel in Riaba, because I can see from the map that Kep still has quite a distance ahead of Iggy. Oh, someone spun. No, can't see who it was. Maybe it was Pop because he got half a second penalty and he's dropped down to 11th. But yeah, let's keep with Lego. We got a Lego Man fan. Okay. Oh, there's your incident. All that progress he was making, so he's gonna have to go gingerly these next few corners to get his tires back up to the right. Oh, he hit again. He's running out of fuel. Okay, he's trying the 2-stopper. Interesting. I don't think many people are going to try the 2-stopper here, so he'll make some massive progress again, but he only pitted 3 laps ago, so he probably forgot to put fuel in his car. He's got 12% left, which is not what you should have at this stage of the race. Right, let's see what Iggy's up to. He's now 3.6 seconds behind Kep, so he's massively closed in. He did a 32.6 last lap. Kep did a 34.5, so it's not like Kep's making mistakes. It's just that Iggy and his tyres are doing so well. Yeah, and now he's got some... Oh, what happened? What happened to Kep? He just was really wide and slow for some reason. And now he's given up P1. What happened there? Was it a mistake? Oh, I'll have to go back and see. Rate the liveries out of 10. Let me see what they all are, as Kep's just trying to lap Millsy here, but he's not making it easy, and he's spinning. I wonder if Millsy had something to do with Kep losing the lead of the race as well. Just bear with me. Right, let's have a look at these liveries. So this is the PlayStation livery that Aero has, which is fairly decent. I would rate... I'm not going to rate them out of 10. That's too harsh. I'll just tell you what my favourite one is. So Iggy's is pretty decent. I do like a neon kind of theme. It doesn't have too many sponsors on it. I do like to see a few sponsors on liveries though. DB, quite classic colours there with the bright yellow and the navy blue. Owls. I don't know what the owls mean that he's got on the side of his car. What about Owen? Owen's got the DHL. I don't know if he works for them. I don't know, but I'm not a fan of delivery companies sponsoring cars. So I like T Smithies. This is a solid car. This looks like one that you'd see professionally. Woozy is the same as DB. They're on the same team. Riaba is the same as a different car up front as well. Pyro's got his teammates with Iggy, and Lego Man, who's pit, and he's only gone down at P9. I like that. He's got dragons all over his car. That's a pretty cool livery. Classic black and white for Pov. Mills has got this Allianz, the same as T Smithy. And Lil Sheepy has this neon green and matte grey combination, which is quite interesting as well. So let's see, who's my favourite? Oh, what happened? Oh, I thought he was going to spin out there, but he was just driving really aggressively. I'm going to go for Kepleros. I quite like it. That's my favourite.
DB's nice, SRT's nice, Mill's nice. Rate Lego Man's performance out of 10.
Well, considering he should be ahead of probably half the drivers he's behind, I'd probably give him a 6. His strategy, I would give a 1, because he's had to pit twice, and he clearly forgot to refuel. But his overall speed, for the league, I'd say he's like an 8 or a 9 out of 10 for overall speed. He can get podiums racing against the big guys if on his day. But he's got 15 seconds to make up in 5 minutes on Pyro if he wants to get any more points out of today. And if he wants the fastest lap, he's got to find 8 tenths on his previous. And he's 2 tenths down, so it looks like Iggy's got the fastest lap sewn up, and he's also got a 6-second lead on faster tyres. So if Iggy doesn't get this race win with probably 8 or 9 seconds at least ahead of Kep, then something's gone wrong. But yeah, let's see. Is there any battles that we can catch towards the end of the race? Owen is only 5 seconds ahead of Smithy. And they are lapping pretty much the same pace at the moment. Woozy is only 1 second ahead of Riaba, so let's join this little battle. They have been very close together all race. Clearly have quite a similar pace to each other. They were close in the sprint race as well. I do like this. It's kind of like a bumblebee design on Riaba's livery. Actually, I'd put... maybe that's my favourite. It's quite simple. Get some sponsors on there and I'd probably say it's my favourite. It's got the ALR logo, but needs a couple more, I think. But no, he's losing ground to Woozy now, so... Anyone else? Lego Man's only 10 seconds behind now, so he's gained 5 seconds already on Pyro. See what he can do in these last 3 minutes of the race. He's lapping very close to his optimum because he's only a 10th off his fastest lap here. Cobra Kai, yes. Must be a fan of the film? I don't know, I've not seen it. So if Lego wants one extra place, he's going to have to do a bit better than he's doing because he's only managed to close in by a further second since we started following him. What about Riaba? Has he managed to do anything more? No, he's 3 seconds behind Woozy now. And T. Smithy's also dropped back from Owen, so... It is looking, unless someone makes a big mistake, that your top 3 are going to be Iggy, who's now 12 seconds ahead of Keftero. So even if Kep hadn't had that incident or made that mistake towards the end of, well, a few laps ago, I don't think he'd have been able to defend too much against Iggy with this kind of pace. DB will get a solid 3rd place, so that'll be a double podium for DB, which is a great result, to be honest, for DB. He has been racing in GT in this league for quite a long time. Very good. Yeah, give it a watch. But yeah, what's Lego Man is only 6 seconds behind now, so he's having a much better lap this time around, or is Pyro just having a worse lap? It's difficult to know. But yeah, this will be the final lap for the leaders. Lego will get a last lap here as well because he's going to cross the line within this next 20 seconds. But can he gain 5 seconds in a single lap? Pyro definitely would have to make a mistake. Because no matter how old Pyro's tyres are and how much harder they are, it's not 5 seconds a lap difference. Well, 33, 4 seconds a lap is based on what they did previously. So it's going to be tight. As Kep has crossed the finish line already, as Iggy manages to get around and do an extra one, so he's basically lapped the field. DB is going to cross the line in 3rd, as Owen is rounding the final corner. But let's rejoin this battle for a little bit. He's 3 seconds behind at the moment, as we rejoin Owen crossing the finish line. T. Smithy is a further 9 seconds back. With Woozy did manage to catch up to T. Smithy a lot in that last lap, actually. But Smithy gets 5th, Woozy 6th, Riaba got 7th, and Little Sheep is going to finish 12th behind him. Pyro now has 8.5 second lead, so Lego's definitely made a mistake somewhere. Oh, here we go, because he's had to get out the way for Iggy. Oh, what a shame. So Pyro's going to cruise round the final corner, a little bit of a twitch on the exit, and take... Do I make the standings? No, Pyro's in charge of the standings. So you can book him for the standings updates. I do the ALR rankings. And Lego's going to finish P9, so Pov finishes 10th, Millsy 11th, Sheepy 12th, and Speed Minion gets 13th. Points for everyone, because everyone 15th and above gets points, but we've only had 13 finishes. We did have 14 starters, but someone disconnected or decided to leave. And that is how it's going to finish. So, double win for Iggy, double P2 for Kep. Iggy gets fastest lap, and this race, Kep got the fastest lap. in the previous race, and Iggy got pole position, so he's going to extend his lead by maybe, I don't know, he's definitely going to be between maybe 6 and 10 points. It's going to be his lead now. So it's still all to play for, but Iggy's just so consistent that something really wrong needs to happen for Kep to kind of start to close in on the championship in the next couple of rounds. Will Pyro make the standings? You're going to have to ask him. I don't know. Right, who is my driver of... Well, the most improved driver I'm going to say is DB, because of his double podium. Driver of the day, it obviously goes to Iggy, who was unstoppable, despite making a couple of big mistakes, I would say. Getting the second penalty on lap 1 in the sprint race, and also his disastrous one-shot qualifying. But yeah, I'm going to end the stream there, guys. It's been fun. I'll see you next time. I usually commentate on Thursdays in F1, on the F1 League, by the way. My name is Ross Thorm, and I race on Sundays in Tier 4. And I commentate on Tier 3. I might do the odd extra bit of commentary now. This was my first time commentating on GT. I also race on Mondays in GT. So, yeah, just catch me out and about. And, yeah, contribute to the chat if you are listening in. Anyway, see you next time.